game, so everything, all the pressure, all the expectations on Manchester United, but they're used to that, Stu.
They are, and for Celta, the travelling fans will need something to cheer about, and Iago Aspas is one that I'm looking at to have an impact on this game. He didn't have a good time at Liverpool, didn't score a Premier League goal in his time there. He's having a fantastic season with 24 goals in all competitions, 5 goals in the Europa League, and Celta Vigo will require him to get involved early, be a creative driving force for them if they're going to get anything out of this game.
Will he feel he has something to prove in front of the English fans?
Absolutely, yeah, especially with it being Manchester United and a history at Liverpool.
Well, Manchester United are playing host to Celta Vigo. An electric atmosphere, as you can see, is building at the Theatre of Dreams. Let's listen in as the teams take to the pitch.
Old Trafford, this is
All right, here we go. We'll see you again at half-time. For now, though, let's send it out to your match commentators, Keith Costigan and Alexi Lalas.
Thank you very much, Kate. Well, it's match day 60 in a marathon season for Manchester United. For it to have a thrilling conclusion, they need to get past Celta Vigo for the very first Europa League final appearance. Alexi, what do you want to see from this Manchester United starting 11 tonight?
Well, no changes actually for either team in terms of the first leg here, and lots of fresh legs. You heard the guys in the studio talk about Paul Pogba in the middle, who was really, really good in that first leg. You got to continue up there. And Marcus Rashford, who was also rested on the weekend, although came in as a substitute, getting that winning goal. So continue on. And Mkhitaryan playing those roles, getting that ball and moving it up to Rashford and to Lingard.
Manchester United, 6 straight victories at home this season in Europa League play. The home issues in the Premier League haven't translated. Also worth noting, they have never lost a European tie by more than 1 goal at home. Quite a record, and a record that Celta Vigo will be hoping to turn around. As you mentioned, no changes to their starting 11 as well.
Yeah, but keep an eye on number 18, Daniel Vess. We saw him miss a golden opportunity in the first leg. He is active. You heard Stuart Holden talking about his desire to see Aspas have much more of an impact on the game. But I thought up top, number 9, Guidetti, for me, was the best player on the field. But as a team, they have got to play better. They were underwhelming and unimpressive in that first leg for a mid-table La Liga team. Was it the opponent or was it the moment? Probably much more about the moment in terms of this tournament and the opportunity to get to that final.
And the benches does as much as anything to highlight the gulf in class between the squads at the disposal of both coaches.
From a Manchester United perspective, you look down that bench, not too shabby.
Marcus Rashford, the match winner in the first leg. He scored in 2 straight Europa League matches. Iago Aspas, that spell in England where he couldn't score a league goal for Liverpool, back on English soil and trying to build upon a very good season in La Liga. Jose Mourinho looking for his first European final since 2010. Manchester United tip-off, attacking from left to right. They are ahead 1-0 on aggregate. A draw tonight would be good enough for Manchester United to go through. No suggestion from Jose Mourinho. That's what they're going to play for. Facing a Celta Vigo side who've lost 5 straight matches in all competitions in the midst of the worst run of form since 2014. Valencia, Fellaini in possession. Expected to see Pogba again in that more advanced midfield role tonight. Very influential in that first matchup. Ball goes back for Facundo Roncaglia to his fellow Argentine centre-back Gustavo Cabral. Guidetti, who was influential in that first leg, without really getting the support he needed. Pogba. By once again preferred at centre-back alongside Daley Blind. Herrera. Back for Blind. Blind gives the ball away. Aspas tries to go at the back four. Goes at Blind. Gets by him. He has Guidetti just pulling back. Looking for the pullback. Sisto. Pablo Hernandez now has it. Positive start here for Celta Vigo. The cool cross and into the grateful hands of Sergio Romero.
Well, you see the pressure coming from Celta Vigo and a bad pass out from Blind, and they jumped all over it. Some good patience here. Didn't see what he wanted and drew it back, and right like that, an opportunity for Celta Vigo. You know they have to score at some point, but a good start for them.
Romero leading Europa League with 7 clean sheets, and as you said, you see Daley Blind holding the hand up, apologizing for the error.
I don't think there was any question as to whose fault it was, but appreciate the responsibility.
Aspas getting another touch on that right-hand side. Inside for Malo. Well, there's a fullback who does like to get forward, but very combative play from Henrik Mkhitaryan. Lingard. He just loses out, and Cabral will play it across for Roncaglia. Certainly seems to be a higher tempo to the play of Celta Vigo than what we saw last week at their home tie. Roncaglia have had success on the road this season in Europa League play. It was talked about in a pre-game. 3 times they've gone on the road and won by the scoreline of 2-0, including at Shakhtar after losing the first leg in the round of 32. So they've been in this position before, just not against Manchester United.
We've talked about the fact that these are the most important games in the club's history, and with that comes incredible pressure. And when you're playing at home and it doesn't start off great and you're not getting the opportunities, that pressure is just ratcheted up. And so for players and for this team, when they go on the road, less expectation and certainly less pressure that they can feel, and so maybe they're that much more comfortable.
And another ball in behind. Aspas making another good run, this time catching out Darmian. Again he goes at Blind. Very good save from Romero. Well, he was largely anonymous in the first matchup. He's come to life here at Old Trafford.
Wonderful ball over the top here from Aspas, who just checks and then heads out into space and cuts it back to his left foot. Romero all over it. Doesn't get enough curl to that far post.
And Ronald Berizzo watching on. He certainly put all his eggs in this basket. They've made 9 changes from the weekend loss to Malaga, resting almost the entire starting 11. Vess on the short corner. Looks for Pione Sisto. Sisto up against Valencia. And that was a difficult matchup last week for Sisto. And once again, Valencia not beaten in that 1v1 situation.
Yeah, he's not buying that. He knows that that man right there has some speed, but he's yet to really channel it effectively and consistently, and certainly against a guy like Valencia, who's seen it all.
And this is exactly what Ronaldo Berizzo would have wanted to see from his team early on. Vest, corner kick towards the near post, and on the header it was Cabral and Roncaglia both going for it. Cabral eventually the man who gets his head to it. And Jose Mourinho, winner of this competition back in 2003. As a manager with Porto, that started it all off for him.
And as much as Manchester United as a club needs the Champions League, I think for Jose Mourinho, he needs it too.
And ball played out by Sergio Alvarez as he was chased down. And early on, and Celta Vigo certainly reveling in the fact they're playing in the atmosphere of Old Trafford. Strong contingent of away fans were out in Manchester early in the day. Sure, if you were on social media, you saw those videos. And they're determined to enjoy the day out in what Eduardo Berizzo quite rightly said, the biggest day in the club's history. A chance to get to a very first European final. Sisto. Herrera underneath it towards Fellaini. Back for Roncaglia. Johnny. Give away by Johnny, finds Maro and Fellaini. Fraction late on the challenges. Lingard goes to ground, once again preferred in the starting 11. Oh, looking for the pace of Rashford and well marshalled by Roncaglia.
Well, his pace and his ability should be no surprise to any of these defenders or this team. You saw Roncaglia there just recognize it and get in front and not just get to the ball but win it and keep possession.
We've seen him used on the left. Is there any doubt to you that he's a 9 moving forward?
There's some doubt. And he's still growing, he's still maturing, and so it might become more evident as he goes along as to where he is most comfortable and most effective. And those might be two different things, by the way.
Sisto, the Manchester United fans getting behind the side, but it's Celta Vigo with more of the possession here early on. Hernandez. Inside Ferredojo, didn't have a very good game in that first matchup. Vess. A bit of a heavy first touch from him, and Pogba getting back in doing his defensive work. We saw that time and time again at Balaidos last week. Pogba wins it back, Herrera. And back for Darmian. Ball looking for Rashford. He might just get away from the central defender. Roncaglia does well to get back in, and a little bit of a push from Rashford.
But as he grows, that first touch that you saw put him into problems there, and he tried to make something out of that bad first touch. As he goes forward, that first touch isn't going to be there, and that's what that maturity and that evolution of that player you'll start to see.
Sisto again coming central. Very good read from Nali Blin. Mkhitaryan. Rashford dropping deep, and that ball just about finds its way through for Antonio Valencia. He's got 2 inside the box. Valencia electing to hold on to it. You've got Fellaini just deep of him. Instead tries for the flick ball over the top, and it was an ambitious ball to say the least. Easy for Sergio Alvarez. Goes for an early release, looking for Aspas. Guidetti. Aspas. Good ball from him. Vess. Sisto again in that 1v1 situation with Valencia. Again, he decides just to come out and restart the attack. Johnny. Cabral. Aspas just inside. Malo, the fullback, giving the width this time. Another good spell of possession here for Celta Vigo. Redoja. Malo making a very positive run on that right-hand side, but wasn't seen by Redoja. Everybody back into the Manchester United half of the field. Roncaglia. Sisto. Again, Malo making another positive run. Pablo Hernandez. Redoja, Vess, Sisto. Redoja tries from that flick ball in over the top, looking for Guidetti. And well, Guidetti was actually coming back from an offside position. Surprised at how positive they've been here to start?
No, look, they have to do something, and they have to do something to change the way that they played in the first leg, and to change the mentality and to plant that seed in Manchester United. Say, this is not the team that you faced in that first leg. But you saw the two differences in terms of patience there, with Manchester United coming back and defending with 9 and 10 field players there and just waiting it out. And on the other side, plenty of patience and possession from Celta de Vigo, but ultimately it didn't amount to anything.
Maybe no better coach in European football than Jose Mourinho at sitting back and soaking up pressure. Perhaps not what we thought we'd see early on in this one. Here's Pogba looking to change things. Wonderful skill from Paul Pogba. Mkhitaryan out wide. Instead he goes for Rashford. And it's a saving challenge from Johnny at the expense of a corner kick. But what a wonderful piece of skill from that man, Paul Pogba.
So much focus and attention because of the price tag, but I tell you what, for me, he's delivered. And just because he doesn't score a lot of goals doesn't make him great and doesn't make him worth the money. And it's not just little bits of brilliance here, but you can feast your eyes on that. And the ball he played for Rashford was fine. And once again, that first touch for Rashford to put it out into space so he can next hit it on goal wasn't there.
Initially said it was a corner kick. Actually came off Rashford last. There you see that possession early on for Celta de Vigo. Incidentally, that Paul Pogba transfer now under a UEFA investigation. Jose Mourinho saying it will have absolutely no effect on Pogba's mental preparation for these games. Valencia winning it back well, and Pablo Hernandez almost immediately regains possession for Celta. Sisto. Guidetti. Valencia now looking to break for Manchester United. Inside for Lingard. Pogba. Mkhitaryan very central. Darmian not as likely to get as far forward as Valencia is on this side. Fellaini. Finds Herrera. Herrera one of 3 carryovers from that loss at the weekend to Arsenal. And Jose Mourinho made 8 changes, again showing that the focus is on the performances in Europa League. Herrera. Blin. Now it's Celta Vigo's turn to get everybody back behind the ball. Bai finds Pogba. Herrera. Out wide for Valencia. Fellaini's gone into a wider position. Lingard stays central. Manchester United happy to just keep the ball moving. Bai. Pogba. And again he'll go back and restart through Blind and Bai. 18 times Manchester United have won the first leg in European competition away from home. They've never gone out after that scenario. And some whistles from the fans as they just happily knock the ball, waiting for Celta Vigo to come out. And then Mkhitaryan, almost inexplicably, catches himself in an offside position.
Lots of possession with that purpose of opening it up, but Mkhitaryan just way too early on his run. But he did see the space, and that possession eats up the clock, but it also opens up a Celta team that needs to come forward and at some point press, and Manchester United understands that.
Sisto back for Adoha. Did see in the last leg and the leg a similar approach in that return matchup after struggling at home against Manchester United. Looked like they had a little bit more freedom in their play. Took the game to extra time. Anderlecht, of course, did have that 1-1 draw, not a 1-0 loss to take back to Old Trafford.
If you can't perform in front of your own supporters, then you're weak.
Malo lost out to Henrik Mkhitaryan, but luckily for him, it went through for Roncaglia. Ball inside for Johnny. And Pogba this time impedes the progress of Pablo Hernandez, the most fouled player in Europa League this season.
Yep.
Free kick for Cabral to take. Aradoja dropping in. Celta Vigo particularly impressive in that away win at Shakhtar. Never an easy place to go and get a result, particularly after losing that first leg. Winning 2-0 on the night in that one. Mkhitaryan inside for Pogba. Darmian back for Herrera. And again the whistles are heard around Old Trafford. Mkhitaryan, good skill from him. Rashford, cool ball towards the far post. Lovely ball, and it's an exquisite finish from Marouane Fellaini. Well, he hasn't always been a fan favourite. He certainly is now. United lead 1-0 on the night and 2-0 in aggregate.
Well, this is just wonderful build-up, some great individual work here from Mkhitaryan, and then Rashford just gets it off his foot. He knows exactly what he's doing. Find the long here at the far post. You can't miss him. And as soon as this ball is played, everyone knows, including the man that hits it, that that is going in the back of the net. Exquisite. For Rashford to get around, get that ball, get it out of his feet, and know exactly where he's doing, and then have the technical ability to place it right on his head. Wonderful goal, and that patience paid off for Manchester United.
And the wrong motions from Marouane Fellaini as well on that celebration, suggesting maybe a lot of pent-up anger at the way he's being conceived at times by the fans. That's a big goal for him. Just one Premier League goal this season, first in Europa League, and Manchester United have a bit of breathing space.
Well, he is an enigma. We know what's his best position, what he's there to do.
Manchester United coming forward again, the ball in behind. Rashford. It's a good saving challenge from Johnny. Obviously a blow for Celta to concede, but they knew coming in 2 goals to progress. They get 2 goals, they would progress. But after a bright start, signs that Manchester United beginning to take over. Certainly the Old Trafford fans finding their full voice. Hernandez. The question is, how will Celta de Vigo respond? Roncaglia looking for Guidetti. Not a clean first touch from him as Fellaini puts pressure on it. Manchester United quite content to just drop off and allow the centre-backs for Celta to have possession. Johnny comes inside, good ball from him. Aspas just trying to play that little underneath pass for Guidetti. And now United look to break. Mkhitaryan, they have looked menacing in this situation so far. The ball in over the top of Mkhitaryan, tries to hit it. He was on that left foot. Has been in good goal scoring form this year in Europa League, playing with that one well over.
And this ball over the top, just couldn't quite get a touch on it there off his chest. He just tries to kill it. Doesn't drop low enough. That man's got to be feeling pretty good about now.
I said he hasn't always been appreciated by the fans. He's been appreciated by the managers that have been at Old Trafford. Maybe none more so than Jose Mourinho. Well, giving possession away at the back again. Danny Blind not looking at 100%. Aspas wants a free kick. He looks to the official on the end line. Nothing doing. Cabral gives possession away. Pogba to Mkhitaryan.
Oh my.
Lovely skill from Mkhitaryan. Little flick ball in behind for Lingard, who goes for goal. Roncaglia with the last-ditch challenge.
Well, we saw it on the goal, and now we see it here. This man's ability to weave his way through what seems to be just an incredible maze of feet and come out the other side and open up space and then play the right ball.
And Danny Blind comes forward to take the set piece. Left-footed delivery, the likes of Fellaini again, an obvious target. Paul Pogba as well. Blind hits one towards the far post, over everybody. It was Rashford who'd gone into that position. Just a little bit too much on it from the Dutch international.
Take a look back at this play again. It's Blind losing the ball. It's a foul. It's outside. Had it been called. And he's saying he got pushed from behind. Blind can smile about it now, but that's a couple of balls in some really dangerous areas that he's lost.
He doesn't have too much luck when he's in England. Guidetti. Pogba looking for Fellaini. Instead it's going to fall for Lingard. Valencia, Manchester United looking very menacing in these counter-attacking situations. Valencia, Fellaini, Pogba. Herrera just turning into trouble, but managed to hold on to it against a much more physically imposing Guidetti. There's a good first touch from Rashford. Away from Roncaglia. Gets his cross in. And goes through everybody. Lingard. Mkhitaryan. Pogba. Pogba at the long range hit, and he's never shy about going for goal, but that one well wide of the target.
Take a look back once again. Just guides it right in that near post. The ball was in the air so long that everybody had a chance to stand up and see it coming. Just because you can see it coming doesn't mean you can stop it.
And goalkeepers never like being beaten on that near post, and after the goal in the first leg we talked about how good a hit it was from Rashford. There was some section of the media suggesting that he could have done better on that free kick as well. Johnny Sisto in for Hernandez. Fellaini just having a little kick at Pablo Hernandez.
Well, Celta Vigo didn't lose the first leg because of Sergio Alvarez, the goalkeeper. Could he have done better? Sure. But it wasn't because of goalkeeping mistakes.
Made a couple of big saves as well.
He made some big saves, and he got very little help from the rest of the team. As I said, just a completely underwhelming performance.
Vest goes down here. That one early chance in that first leg, the header that went just wide. There's the challenge from Herrera. It will be Daniel Vest who gets up to take the set piece. Roncaglia and Cabral both with a couple of La Liga goals this season. Both come up from the back. Vest, curl ball towards the far post. Romero perhaps could have caught it, elected to punch. And maybe he's regretting that decision.
Yeah, he knows. He knows. He's wide open. Nobody around him challenging. Better safe than sorry, but
Cabral. Plays it wide for Malo. Ves. Malo again making a very penetrating run. They've been unable to find him, and Manchester United looking to exploit the space he's left. This time Mkhitaryan loses out. Aspas was the one tracking back in. Just going back to Sergio Romero though, Alexi, he continues to start, even though Jose Mourinho is saying this is the focus. Surprised we haven't seen David De Gea take over the reins in Europa League?
Well, there's always the question as to how long David De Gea is going to be around and where he wants to go, and I think there still is a question. But as far as the talent that Manchester United has in goal, it's a wonderful position to be in. As Tata Martino would say, it's a champagne problem. But if you just asked me what the best 11 was and who was in goal, it's still David De Gea.
He's of course in the Premier League Team of the Year once again this year. After another excellent season, the ball pulled back, long range hit, and Romero just finger-tipping that one over the crossbar. Pablo Hernandez trying his luck from distance, and once again Romero with the save.
This one's going right down the middle, so he sees it the entire time. Just pushes it over.
Called into action on a couple of occasions tonight. Romero has 7 clean sheets on the season in Europa League play. Ves again elects to go short with Sisto. Back for Ves. Ves trying to curl it, but Valencia closes him down so quickly. Valencia trying to clear, but Sisto has it under a little bit of pressure from Pogba. Too much pressure from Pogba, and another free kick in a good position for Celta.
You see Paul Pogba just kicking from behind, and eventually Sisto gets that foul. But for Celta Vigo, when they got these opportunities, we saw the corner kick a minute ago. They got very little off it. They just elected to go to the short one. Every single time they have something like this, they got to make it count. A good ball in, or at least one where you hedge your bets, you give yourself an opportunity on goal.
Daniel Ves has been on most of the set pieces. He's on this one as well, the Danish international. And again, the obvious targets: Gustavo Cabral, Facundo Roncaglia, Guidetti too. In a very central position. Then we see Roncaglia positioning himself right at the edge of that 3-man wall. Ves tries to go for goal, and well, the minute that left his foot, you could see it was going to go nowhere near the target. A frustrated manager right now.
It remains to be seen if he's frustrated because he wanted a different type of play, a lofted ball into the back post, into the big guys that had come up, or he just wanted a better shot. I think either way he would say, I don't care what you do, but make sure that it's better, and certainly better than that attempt. Easy to say from the sideline.
The other Europa League semi-final has its opening goal, and you'd probably say the Europa League final has its first participant. Ajax getting the goal, and they lead 1-0 on the night, 5-1 on aggregate. We've seen some incredible comebacks this year in Europe, but well, let's not write off Lyon just yet. But Ajax in a very good position, as are Manchester United.
Ouch. Roncaglia just coming right in behind Fellaini, getting that knee right in the spine. Or the
Roncaglia, the Argentine international. Valencia, Herrera, curl delivery. Wasn't a bad ball at all into the area from Ander Herrera. He had 3 players to hit at. Looked like they got in each other's way. Valencia being told to go back and take the throw in from the proper position. Lingard. Valencia, Roncaglia just over his own head to clear the danger. Pogba, a little bit of a push from Ves, but the referee weighs play on with Manchester United regaining possession. Herrera. Back for Baye. And back for Romero. Pablo Hernandez has it back for Celta de Vigo centrally. Once again, Fellaini tireless in midfield, trying to get back in and help. And a needless giveaway. Mkhitaryan on the counter-attack. Still Mkhitaryan. Lingard does very well. Gets away from Johnny. Gets his cross in. And it managed to find its way through. Cabral diving at it. Unfortunately for Manchester United, nobody attacking that far post. Well, it didn't look like anything was on when Lingard had it initially, but he made something of it.
And once again, it all stems from Mkhitaryan in the open field, dribbling, opening up space, drawing defenders, and then dishing it. And like you said, Lingard drew 2 and 3 players and then just saw that open space behind him, understands his speed and how to control it, and see you later.
Arena takes it inside for Pogba. Aspas, he had a very bright opening 10 minutes. Haven't seen too much of him since then. And that's a challenge from Daley Blind. He's going to be the first into the referee's notebook.
Well, Daley Blind has not had a wonderful first half in terms of some touches that he's had, but this gets to him. He should do better. It wasn't the greatest ball from Paul Pogba and put him in a difficult situation, and he made the matters worse by coming in with the studs up here. You cannot do that.
Well, there was a lot of talk from Jose Mourinho about some of the other centre-backs that are out injured, perhaps being a little bit braver in coming back from those injuries. Phil Jones and Chris Smalling, those 2 players in question, they are both available from the bench today, and you wonder over the course of the next few Premier League games, possibly the final, whether Daley Blind will hold on to his position as a centre-back.
Well, as we've said before, there's a difference between being injured and hurt. Last time any of these players were actually 100%, they were 10 years old. You're never 100%. But you got to be careful if you're a manager calling out your players. Everybody's body reacts differently and everybody feels differently.
Cabral. On that, is it the players making the decision, or is it the medical staff making the decision on when a player can come back?
Well, it's a combination, but if you have a medical staff that says, hey, does this hurt? And give me a 1 to 10, everybody's scale is different. And I think his point is, you know what? You're never going to not hurt. You're never going to be 100%. And be able to play through pain is different than actually being injured. And I think that's okay. That's legitimate. And that's not necessarily old school or grouchy old man get off my lawn type of thing. That applies regardless of what generation that you're talking about. And there are plenty of players that will play through pain and understand the difference. And I'm not saying you play through pain and you make matters worse. You have to take medical advice. I completely understand that, but I think that's what Mr. Mourinho was saying.
Well, he almost has a full complement of defenders back. Still no Rojo. Of course, injured on Europa League duty. Lalo trying to get forward again. Just not enough space for him. He is an attacking fullback, but unable to really influence the game so far on that side. Darmian, the Italian international, normally plays at right back, starting at left back. Luke Shaw, of course, unavailable for the rest of the season. A number of players have played that left back role for Manchester United this campaign, including Daley Blind. And we've seen Jozabed, among others, warming up for Celta de Vigo. Valencia just trying to play that ball in over the top for Lingard. He felt like he could have won a free kick. A lot of contact with Johnny. The referee said it was legal contact. Lingard, strong challenge to win it back. Guidetti, Sisto. Aspas tries to come across, and this time it's Aspas who makes the contact. And Ali Blint was the defender in question, and the free kick goes against the Celta forward.
Blint read this the entire way, got there well in time, and Aspas late. You got to control your body, and he didn't, so he can roll his eyes.
Perhaps the argument isn't that wasn't a free kick, it was I didn't get a free kick for something similar. Pogba, long range hit, again that takes a deflection. And he felt it took a deflection. I think his reaction tells you what the referee thought.
Well, considering his shot earlier in the half, he better hope this took a deflection. Looks like it did. Still not sure if it was going on net, but the man will shoot. We don't know where it's going. I'm not sure he does either.
4 Premier League goals on the season for Paul Pogba. He has said he doesn't want to be judged just on the goals that he scores. Said he feels that's unfair. So much more to a midfielder's game. Cabral.
Well, he is absolutely right. And, you know, the inevitable talk of the price tag of Pogba, I think, is fair. But asking him to score ridiculous amounts of goals is unfair. Asking him to be a factor in every single game that he plays, that is legitimate and fair. And I think that's to be expected. And I think he has, much more so than people realize.
There's the man in question, Pogba, on the challenge. The free kick goes against the French international. Aspas still arguing with the referee. He's gone over on 2 or 3 occasions now. Once again, it's Hernandez who goes to ground.
It's a fine balance. If you, the squeaky wheel out there arguing every call, and then you become just an annoyance to the referee. So you have to pick and choose your moments to complain at the lobby.
Guidetti trying to drift out onto that left-hand side. Instead, it's back with Johnny. Hernandez. Lovely switch of the play from him to find Malo. In for Aspas. Looks for that little return ball for Malo. Can he keep it in play? The linesman on that end line says yes. Celta de Vigo keep possession. Johnny trying to go back on his right foot. Curl ball towards Guidetti. Not quite sure what Guidetti's intentions were. Ball goes back towards his own goal. Hernandez plays it in for Johnny, the fullback. Aspas. Malo. Numbers forward here for Celta Vigo. 3 inside the area, but the cross finds Eric Bailly. Vess. Hernandez. Good entry pass in. Good movement off it as well. Lingard loses out. Sisto. Sisto curled towards the far post. Just not really enough on it, but first time he's given himself a yard of space to create. Easy save for Romero.
He said, I'm not going to beat Valencia on speed, so I'll just push it inside and see what I can do. But Romero saw that one all the way.
Vess, Sisto. The best spell we've seen from Celta since that opening 10 minutes. Sisto coming inside, goes for goal from distance. Much more aggressive play from the winger over the last couple of minutes. That one well wide. David De Gea and Juan Mata among the substitutes tonight for Jose Mourinho. Fellaini. Good read from Johnny. Aspas. Sisto. Ves. Malo in acres of space on that right-hand side. Madoha looked that way, but instead goes for Cabral. Ves. Cabral. Now they finally get the ball to Malo. Aspas on the turn, and here's the boos from the Old Trafford fans. Sisto again comes inside, links with Guidetti. Good possession play from Celta. We're not really going anywhere. Guidetti. Johnny.
We'll see Sisto again here. He's gone inside now 3-4 times in a row.
And this time he does try and go to the end line. Very good cross, and Ves puts his header well wide, but wonderful wing play from Sisto. You mentioned going inside, this time he goes out.
Yep.
Almost a devastating effect.
Yep. And double teamed and still gets a cross off. You see Valencia there with his hands behind his back, making sure. Another header by the post. We saw one from him in the first leg, and now another opportunity. But Sisto working into this game down that left-hand side, something to keep an eye on.
A goal for Celta would make it very interesting. A goal for Manchester United would nearly kill things off. Rashford looking to do just that, loses out to Johnny. Sisto. Back for Roncaglia. Cabral. Malo, the captain. Hernandez. A very comfortable team in possession, Celta de Vigo. Again, they try and go forward. Guidetti just not reading the pass from the wide player Aspas. And now a chance to break for Manchester United. A little bit of space for Rashford. And the offside flag saving Celta on that occasion.
But he should pull it back for the foul, right? We'll take Pogba's going to just flick this around the man and then take the hit. Whistle in the mouth. Now that's offside. He played on. Pogba knew that the entire time. He saw him coming, did the calculation, and took the hit.
Pablo Hernandez on the challenge. Those two have been involved in a couple of skirmishes so far. Johnny. Cabral calling for his teammates to show and look for the ball centrally. Rodoja eventually does, but almost gives possession away. Ves has it back. Aspas goes back for Ves. Huge switch, finding Malo on that right-hand side. Good ball, first time inside for Johnny. Back for Malo. Can he get around Darmian? He can't, but he can win inside the corner kick.
Darmian just getting his body in front. I love these one versus one matchups on both sides with Valencia and Darmian.
Corner kick delivered in, not fully defended, and luckily for Manchester United, Guidetti couldn't get really enough on that header. Straight back for Romero. Well, in our other Europa League semi-final, we do have a leveler. Lacazette has scored for Lyon. Now 5-2 on aggregate in that one. But over the course of this first half, Alexis, as we head towards halftime, have you seen enough from Celta de Vigo to suggest they may be able to pose a problem in the second half and make it interesting?
I've seen glimpses, but I have not seen enough that's really troubled Manchester United. They'll be more than happy going into the locker room with this score and the way that they got it. And they have to be very comfortable and confident that that road to the final is wide open.
It's 1-0 on the night. 2-0 on aggregate for Jose Mourinho's men. We're going to take a short break. Make sure you stay with us as Kate, Stu and Warren will be back to recap all of the first half action today in the Europa League. Exclusively on FS1. The only thing we now have to find out is who's going to be playing there. As it stands, Ajax in pole position in one semi-final, Manchester United in pole position here at Old Trafford. And actually we saw some signs from Celta de Vigo in that first half. They're going to make a change, Jozabed coming on. But what do they need to do early on in this second half to give themselves an opportunity to move on to that final?
Well, where did the opportunities come from? Wide. Whether it was Sisto on one side or at times Aspas, that's where the joy is going to come for them. So keep feeding those players. And it's one thing to cut in each and every time and get those shots off. But it's another thing that we then saw Sisto, after he had cut in a bunch of times, then go wide. So mixing it up for those two players, I think, is crucial going forward.
Jozabed coming on for Daniel Vess, the 26-year-old. Actually on loan from Fulham, made 7 appearances with Fulham before moving on. And Jose Mourinho, 7 years he's waited to be back in a major European final. Won the Champions League in 2010 with Inter Milan. Has a wonderful record, won the Champions League with Porto, but also won the UEFA Cup, now the Europa League with Porto as well. That started everything off in terms of 12 months later the Champions League for Porto, and he'll be hoping for a similar springboard for his Manchester United team here over the next couple of weeks.
But it's been a while for a special one. He needs it.
Celta de Vigo will get the second half underway, attacking from left to right. They're a goal down on the night, 2 goals down on aggregate. But if they were to get those 2 goals, they would be moving on away goals. The way Manchester United have defended over the last couple of months, very hard to see, but stranger things have happened this year in European competition. Ball played in for Malo, gets in behind Romero, gets a hand to it. Almost a perfect start to the second half for Celta. Mkhitaryan, a wonderful run down that right-hand side from Malo, who's looked to get forward on every occasion. Almost a devastating effect there, denied by Romero. Great start once again. Sisto, look at this nice little scoop into the path of Malo. And if you're Celta Vigo, you put Manchester United on alert right off the bat. This is far from over. Sisto in for Guidetti, back to Sisto. Jozabed. Aspas trying to link. Naradoja goes to Hernandez. Sisto. We saw him almost change his approach late on in that first half. Sisto being a lot more active, a lot more aggressive. Aspas finds Sisto. Back for Aspas. Jozabed tries to play the ball in, and Guidetti had drifted to the edge of the box. He wanted to pull back. Jozabed, who came on in the first leg matchup as well. Former Rayo Vallecano player, came through the Sevilla system. He just didn't quite fall for him at Fulham. That man is the only goal of the night so far. Marouane Fellaini's header. Herrera. Rashford going out to the right-hand side. He goes down. A lot of contact on the challenge.
Well, he's young, but he's smart. He knows when to go down, and he feels that pressure from behind.
Taking a good position here for Blind, interesting conversation with the guys at halftime, suggesting he was rather lucky to stay on the field. A reckless challenge in the first half on Hernandez. Roncaglia complaining about the referee, talking about the contact. Pablo Hernandez just asking him to get on with it. One might fall for Fellaini. Ball back from Mkhitaryan. What a hit from Mkhitaryan. A wonderful save from Sergio Alvarez.
Well, he gets all of this, and it falls perfectly. Smacks it. You can see it's going back the other way. Even might have taken a little deflection there. And Alvarez, strong hands, strong beard.
I agree on the strong hands part. Rashford on the corner kick. Rashford towards the near post. The goal scorer in the first leg. Rashford, the goal creator tonight. For Herrera looking for space, urged to shoot by the fans. The same goes for Valencia, but elected to try pass and was closed down quickly by Gustavo Cabral.
Very quickly, really well read by Cabral there to get out and block that shot. He made up 20 yards very, very quickly.
Will he be happy with what he's seen so far, Jose Mourinho?
Yes, I think so. Not just with the score, but with the possession, with the attitude. I heard the guys talk about the Blind situation with that yellow card. The same way yesterday we were talking about Real Madrid making sure they kept their composure and didn't do anything stupid that would leave them less fortified if and when they got to the final. Everybody out here has to be aware.
I think everybody happy to see UEFA change that rule of not missing a final on yellow cards, but a red card, certainly a different matter entirely. Yozabed, open space for Yozabed, finds Pablo Hernandez. Sisto just behind him. Finds Sisto. Herrera, good challenge, and immediately pointed to the ball as if he felt the referee was going to call the free kick. By Rashford. Ball play forward, looking for the run of Fellaini, but this comes off the outside of the foot of Lingard. He apologises for it. Malo. Again, a lot like the first half. Good spell of possession to begin this second half for Celta de Vigo. A chance almost immediately for Hugo Malo.
But we've also seen if you can weather that storm, then very quickly it dissipates and you start to get more opportunities and more possession from a Manchester United perspective, and we've seen it now in both legs. If it doesn't pay off for Celta, do they have the capability to continue into that second 20 minutes?
Dente finding Sisto. Sisto just trying to create a yard of space, but Herrera, who's again had a very good game in front of the back four, coming across and reading the danger. A player who seems to have become integral in the middle of that midfield for Jose Mourinho. All the message have been from Berizzo at halftime to his side.
That you're still in this, number one. So a belief that you can go out there and get those goals that you need. We'll have referenced the times that they did have good opportunities. He's made the change at halftime. So when he's talking to Jozabed, saying you have to make an impact when you go out there.
Pogba holding on to possession and then cheaply giving the ball away. Guidetti found by a good pass from Aspas. Sisto. By just holding off Sisto, and he does very well by. He's a powerful presence defensively. waited for Sisto to take him on, read it and win it back. Cabral. It is Josebed, the substitute. Again, Malo in an advanced position. Curl cross towards the near post. And the referee's whistle is going to go.
He doesn't know, and we don't know yet. Push.
Guidetti, of course, officially 7 years at Manchester City, but again, a lot of loan spells away from the club, the likes of Burnley, Feyenoord, Stoke and Celtic, before signing on a free transfer with Celta de Vigo. 4 Europa League goals this season, but not prolific at La Liga level. Sergio Alvarez closed down quickly, and Lingard not going to give the goalkeeper a moment's peace. Ali Blind inside for Herrera. Fellaini loses out, and he gets back, and that's a cynical challenge.
He's going to get a talking to. Nothing more. Last chance. Last chance, big man.
Some disciplinary issues at Premier League level recently. Caglia for Cabral. Pablo Hernandez wanted to go forward, but he was pressed well by Manchester United. Has to go all the way back to his goalkeeper. The clearance, and here's Fares Bay. Hernandez, and the referee allowing play to continue. Aspas, a little bit of space for Iago Aspas. Got numbers out wide of him, tries to go for goal, and an easy save in the end for Romero, but finally Aspas finding that space he desires.
Lots of space, so he says, all right, I'm going to hit this, but doesn't get anything on it. He's trying to curl it around to that post. Instead, just curls it right into the gut of Romero.
And options either side of him as well, particularly Sisto on that left-hand side. Some of the Manchester United veterans on the bench. Wayne Rooney, a bit coy in his responses about whether he would be here at Old Trafford next season. When pressed, he says, of course I want to be, but he did say, I do want to play next season. And it's been a concern for him this campaign.
Well, can't always get what you want. Especially if there are conditions attached.
Pogba looking for Mkhitaryan towards Lingard. Good skill. Lingard again across the 6-yard box, and Rashford not really gambling and attacking the space. A good approach play from Manchester United, and Darmian thought he won it back, but there's a judge to have impeded Iago Aspas. A good play from Lingard on that right-hand side.
Little ball over to Mkhitaryan. That's a fine cross. Just needs somebody there. Didn't have a lot of confidence in their teammate that he was going to do that.
Valencia wins it back. Rashford thought Valencia had continued with the run out wide. Hasn't been as influential tonight, Marcus Rashford.
Except for the pinpoint pass onto Fellaini's head, and if that ends up being the difference, then sometimes for players up top, it's that one moment.
We were saying that about Rashford. How many times have we said that about Zlatan?
Yep.
And influencing games in those big moments. Cabral. Back for Alvarez. Manchester United fans in full voice. They sense the side on the cusp of their very first Europa League final.
This whole line of thought that because of Ibrahimovic and his impact that it somehow impeded the progress of the team because Rashford couldn't play, and the reliance that they had on Ibrahimovic.
We'll get back to that in a moment as Malo comes forward. Across towards the far post. Sisto underneath it, and it's allowed to drop. Guidetti with the hit. Just wide. A half chance for Guidetti, and he couldn't find the target.
Didn't hit it. He didn't get all of it. Once again, down this right-hand side, Malo. And Valencia knows that he's in no man's land. And it drops perfectly to Sisto. He just, Guidetti just doesn't get on. Doesn't get around on it and doesn't get enough on it.
But getting back to your Zlatan point, you don't feel that he's impeded the progress? Or?
That having Ibrahimovic at Manchester United? No. Where would they be without Zlatan Ibrahimovic? I mean, the man has carried this organization this year on his shoulders, not just in the scoring, but in the pressure. He's taken pressure off of his teammates. He's taken pressure off of his manager. He's taking pressure off of this club. And it's not that Rashford can't be that at some point. And the time that he has taken away from Rashford could have been playing. I'm sorry. This is Manchester United. And people want to see a Manchester United that is ready to play, that is not developing.
Not your everyday costume for a Manchester United game in a Europa League semi-final, is it? But also, to your point, what a tremendous role model someone like Zlatan is for a young player like Marcus Rashford.
I mean, ultimately, I don't think that having Ibrahimovic at Manchester United, if it ends up being just this year or another year, was detrimental to this club. If anything, in a certain way, he kept it relevant and alive. When we compare and contrast with what it once was.
Well, giving possession away. You saw Mkhitaryan take a knock a couple of moments ago. He's back on his feet. Back going at that Celta de Vigo back four. Rashford making a little bit of movement out onto this left-hand side. Again, a strong challenge from Roncaglia. He's no longer an unknown quantity to these defenders. Not going to allow him to turn and go. You see Roncaglia as well, suggesting his side could be a little bit quicker playing that ball forward. Aspas, Yozabed, Sisto out wide for Malo. Again, he's got numbers in the box. Tries to pull it back for Sisto. Pogba on the challenge. He goes down, and the free kick will go against Malo. Pogba read the movement of Sisto very well.
And it doesn't show up on the score sheet, but there is value to that. Can't be the only thing you do, and it's not the only thing that he does, but that's some dirty work in an important and key moment.
And you see the challenge again on Rashford.
Well, he comes in from behind. It looked like he kicked Rashford's foot rather than the ball. But Rashford's also got to understand that he's going to have to ride out those challenges at times and use his body to take those hits and be kicked plenty of times. You want to talk about Zlatan? He's very, very good, and he recognizes and he almost comes to love that physical play in terms of posting up. It's got to hurt so good to a certain extent for some of those guys up there.
Elizabeth finds Redoha. Johnny. Sisto now going back into his left wing position. Been very central over the first 17 or so minutes of this second half. Malo again getting in behind Mkhitaryan, and this time the ball just too much on it. But he has been influential in this second half, the fullback.
He's going so fast, he fell off the cliff there. Take another look. Doesn't get to it, but look out.
Ouch. Over 200 appearances for the club, Hugo Malo.
He's been good. And they've been better. As a team, they've certainly been better. And we talked about the bad performance they had in the first leg.
Mkhitaryan goes down holding his leg. Fellaini couldn't win that ball back for Manchester United. This is the area here, Celta de Vigo with some possession, but United such good pressure. And again, Lingard chasing it down. Mkhitaryan back on his feet, but Pablo Hernandez gets there just ahead of him. And then proceeds to give possession right back to the Armenian international. Mkhitaryan. He's such a tricky player in those 1v1 duels. Rashford inside on his right foot, back to his left foot, one-on-one with Alvarez. The goalkeeper makes a very good save. Well, created the chance all for himself, Rashford. The goalkeeper this time was up to the task. Guidetti. Fellaini wins it back. Strong play, end-to-end stuff now at Old Trafford. Mkhitaryan. Rashford. Manchester United just slowing things back down. Fellaini. Rashford inside for Mkhitaryan. One touch too many from the Armenian. Yozabin. Sisto trying to break into that area, but the minute Valencia went forward by, he came across and covered very well. Alvarez. Cabral back for Roncaglia. Again, you can see Cabral asking for more movement from his more forward-thinking teammates. Aspas halfway into his own half to try and get a touch. Here he is again. Hernandez.
You can see Sisto playing much more central this half. With Jozabet coming in.
Guidetti finds Sisto in that central position, looks for the return for Guidetti, and Eric Bailly shows his strength, shows his pace, shows a little bit of finesse too to get the ball out for Mkhitaryan. He's already a firm crowd favourite at Old Trafford, Eric Bailly. Sisto, flick in for Aspas, and Mkhitaryan, some contact with Henrik Mkhitaryan.
Oh, he's lucky.
And this is the yellow card that's been coming since the very first challenge of the match on Iago Aspas.
Squeaky wheel sometimes gets the grease and sometimes gets the card immediately. Well, looked like he got there first, but he certainly went down very easily there and then proceeded to scream and yell and gets a yellow for his efforts.
I think if they do go out tonight, Iago Aspas will be happy to see the back of Northern England for the time being. Hasn't quite gone for him so far tonight. A couple of flashes very early on. Goes out of play. It'll be a throw in for Celta de Vigo. And we see this movement again from Rashford.
Rashford gets it out of his feet. Right foot, left foot, cutting. And I see him take a look there instead of just clipping it over. But Alvarez came out, cut down the angle very well. Well done by Rashford there.
A big moment because 2-0 on the 9, there really was no way back.
Yep.
We're going to see another change, and Radoja is going to be sacrificed. Theo Bongonda will come on. The holding midfielder comes off. So obviously we're at that time where
kitchen sink.
Theo Bangon, the 21-year-old Belgian youth international, can play out wide, can play central, and you can see immediately going to that left-hand side, Sisto coming in central. Question is, does Jose Mourinho counter? No changes as of yet for Manchester United. Lingard goes down. Free kick one. Johnny, the fullback, laid and reckless. Rashford, again getting in behind, trying to pull that ball back towards Paul Pogba. Mkhitaryan, Pogba, that was a strong challenge. Fellaini with the effort. And United win a corner kick. They may well have had a free kick at the edge of the box. Referee allowing play to continue, and Alvarez with the save again.
So it's debatable. What is better? This left-footed shot from Fellaini at an acute angle, or that opportunity at the top of the box? So I appreciate that he let it play on, but from a Manchester United perspective, having that free kick right at the top of the box might have been preferable.
Rashford towards that far post, and the referee has seen something he doesn't like. Lingard appealing the decision. Now Celta de Vigo will have a free kick. There's a little bit of contact with the goalkeeper from Lingard.
Yeah, you can stand in front of him, but when you get the chicken wings out there and impede him like that, could be problems.
Cabral entering the final 20 minutes of this Europa League semi-final second leg action at Old Trafford. It's 1-0 on the night, 2-0 on aggregate to Manchester United. Celta Vigo would need to score twice. If they could, they would be moving on away goals, but as it stands, United 20 minutes plus stoppage time away from the very first Europa League final. Aspas. Jozabed opens up for Jozabed, takes the hit, wasn't too far away. Manchester United just backed off the substitute.
We'll get a better look at how close this actually was. Jozabed gets it out of his feet. Romero had it covered, courtesy dive.
Ariza perhaps thought it was a lot closer than it ended up being. Sisto. Lively in this second half, Pione Sisto. And Valencia, good read again, just a fraction later on the challenge. Sisto. Turns, looked like he was already going down before he got to Herrera, and that's exactly how the referee has seen it. Pogba finds Mkhitaryan. Pablo Hernandez has it back, and then Mkhitaryan impedes him. Rondon, the substitute, in for Aspas, and once again, absolutely no space for the Spanish international.
And Herrera just calmly and consistently going about his business, being in good positions, picking off balls. So important to this team.
Jozabed. Aspas. Guidetti. Seen very little of John Guidetti in the second half. He's been kept in check by Eric Bailly. Now he's in this left wing position. Was looking for the cross and completely miscued that one. Luckily for him, his side have it back. Hernandez. Johnny, little chip ball, and perhaps a miscommunication between both Romero and Danny Blin. They both hold their hands up.
Romero took a step and didn't say anything. Blint, not wanting to take any chances, even though it was over him, had to get his head to it. Forces a corner.
Mallow was going to take it. Instead, he's going to leave it for the substitute. Josever. Delivery goes towards the near post. Rashford deals with it, but not a convincing clearance. And the referee's whistle will go in favour of Manchester United. Not where Rashford would have wanted the clearance to go, but the referee's whistle saves him. We've mentioned, Alexi, how important this is for Manchester United as a team. Jose Mourinho hasn't been in a European final for 7 years. How big is it for him as a manager?
I think the way that we look at Jose Mourinho, and look, there was plenty of years of talk of him possibly being a coach of this team. He needs it. And he knows that.
Still some work here to do to get across the finish line.
It's not just the team getting back to the promised land. It's doing it with Jose Mourinho at the helm, and him getting that at least initial credit, and then wonderful touch.
Johnny in space, but on there, play the ball in.
Couldn't get that shot off, but great touch in the box. Couldn't get out of his feet and was collapsed upon by 3 defenders immediately.
Aspas dropping deep to get it again. Sisto. Aspas pointing out to that left-hand side to tell Sisto where to play it. He doesn't heed the advice. Goes the opposite way. Mallow has it. Mallow, this time a left-footed delivery. Guidetti in so much space, and that just about sums up the play going forward over both legs.
And you're looking for him just to flick this one on, and instead he just gets way too much of that big bald head of his on it. Good clearance.
I said it sums up their play. It just about sums up the career of John Guidetti to date as well.
Just off the mark.
At the rate Manchester United give up chances, you have to take them when they come. Celta de Vigo having a chance for Manchester United now to go forward, and Alvarez comes out quickly.
But if you're a Manchester United supporter, or if you're just a supporter of the concept of Manchester United, you have to look at it and be excited about the possibility of them getting back into Champions League. Look what they've done without Champions League. How does it change that story and the interest this summer if now Manchester United is back in Champions League with Jose Mourinho? And what do they go about doing, considering what they've done with Pogba already, Ibrahimovic? That is a carrot to dangle in front of some folks out there, and there's going to be a lot of talent available this summer.
In a place that doesn't always need a carrot to dangle for players to come as well. Sisto opens up for him and closed down once again by Pogba. Fellaini. Valencia against Bengonda. Valencia just getting it on that right foot. He couldn't wrap his foot around it to keep it in play.
But if you're an elite player out there looking for that big move and that big transfer, it's a little different proposition when it's Manchester United without Champions League as opposed to with it. And I know it's a big brand, and I know there's the lore and the legacy and all that, but it has been very, very different. And to have that as part of it, that is something special, and there is value to that.
Henrik Mkhitaryan replaced by Michael Carrick. Obviously a different kind of player coming on.
Just shut it down. He's solid on the ball. He'll circulate it, keep possession. Defensively, he'll know his responsibilities.
Carrick talked about this week what it would mean for him to play in the Europa League final at United. Bengonda, he might have other ideas, trying to get his cross in. And Carrick immediately called into action, reading the danger. Another cross comes in. Again, Carrick well positioned. player who's been undervalued throughout his career, you could say, Michael Carrick. Another player who's played in big games for Manchester United this season. Well, he said it will mean a lot for this club, this group of players, to get to the Europa League final. Thoughts that were echoed by his manager.
Well, it's a trophy, obviously, an opportunity to do something that hasn't been done before, but it's also a strange situation where you want to win it because you don't necessarily want to be in it again the following year.
Sister back for Yozabed again, just trying that little flick ball in behind, looking for Guidetti, and Aspas asking for the ball back towards the edge of the box. But that man missed the opportunity. One final change coming. Claudio Bovu will come on. Another man who came on in that first matchup as well. Guadeloupe international. Another winger, so trying to open up that Manchester United defensive shape. Fellaini looking for Rashford. Cabral comes across and looked like he got the last touch. And that's how the assistant referee sees it as well. Corner kick, Manchester United. And interesting, it's going to be Pione Sisto who comes off. Livelier in the second half, but ultimately just couldn't win that battle with Antonio Valencia.
Well, unless he's hurt or just completely exhausted, it's a head scratcher. At least he's wanted to be on the ball, and when he has been on the ball, some positive things have happened.
Rashford slightly overhit on the corner kick, allowing for the counter-attack perhaps. Yozabed. Manchester United had kept three back, and Darmian snuffed at that counter very quickly. Aspas. Aspas. A late challenge, and it's going to be a yellow card on Herrera. Bovu's first action is to pick himself up off the ground as he wins aside the free kick.
Well, there you go. Make an impact when you come on. And immediately, a set piece in a good situation here for Celta Vigo.
No doubt in the combative nature of Ander Herrera in the middle of midfield. Not too many players like playing against him. There's a bit on the delivery. Strong defensive header from Bai. Little flick back in from Bengon there, too much on it. That'll be a goal kick for the hosts. Alex Ferguson watching on. As you can see, all of a sudden things getting interesting in France. Lyon now leading by 3-1. We thought they were dead and buried. They had other ideas. And that one's going to go right to the death. One more goal, and if I'm not mistaken, we have the potential of extra time in that one.
You don't trust your math, or?
I never trust it when I say things quickly.
I trust it, yeah. 4-1 and 4-1, right? And off we go to extra time. But who knows? Maybe there's more surprises there.
An Ajax team have impressed everybody in Europa League play, but we saw it against Schalke. Conceded with that lead. We're taking into extra time before killing that game off. Now we're looking to hold on late here.
Oh, there's the forehead move. Luckily, no headbutts.
Rashford in behind. Again, strong challenge. Celta Vigo have defended Rashford much better tonight. Well, the drama at Lyon doesn't look like we're going to have that kind of drama laid on here at Old Trafford. Manchester United ruthlessly efficient again. Rashford. Ball out wide for Lingard. Lingard. Yozabed closes him down. Hernandez. Back for Yozabed, opens up on the far side. Johnny, Theo Bongonda's gone out wide. Bavu has it. Aspas. The ball is out wide. Good cross in, and the flick on just took it away from Aspas. Herrera getting that vital interception. Aspas had made that run towards the far post. Wasn't far away from getting that touch. Jozebin. Romero again electing to punch.
That's a heck of a punch.
Efficient more than explosive tonight from Manchester United.
Yes, efficient.
And more drama in Lyon. Ajax are now down to 10 men. So if they are going to make it to the final, they're going to do it the hard way. 6 minutes to go in that one. Theo Bongonda back for Jozebin. Malo. Ball playing through. Aspas at the edge of the box. Off by. Half-hearted appeals for a handball as well. He threw himself at it as Aspas tried to turn and go for goal.
Take a look again. Aspas. No. Nothing for me there.
That's just good defending.
Yep.
Jozebin again on the corner kick. Beats the near post man. Pogba. Not quite sure he felt like it was going to come to him, and he redirects it behind for another corner kick. I'm not quite sure what you call that hairstyle. Theo with the cross, the flick header. We have a goal for Celta de Vigo, and maybe we have a grandstand finish here as well. 1-1 on the night, 2-1 in aggregate.
Well, Sergio Romero might not believe it, but you better believe it. Wide open in the box. Perfect little flick on. And just redirects it.
Roncaglia with the finish. There's what it means to Eduardo Berizzo.
Game on.
And you saw Jose Mourinho immediately motioning towards somebody on the bench. Certainly makes it interesting. Two La Liga goals. This is his first Europa League goal. And now it all kicks off, and Valencia with a lot of contact on John Guidetti. This is the last thing Manchester United want to see. Fellaini involved. Malo. Looks like Fellaini was just trying to talk to the referee about exactly what had happened. Drama to end both Europa League semi-finals. And they're pointing towards Antonio Valencia.
Yeah, as they should.
And the referee getting the advice. It doesn't look like he's going to go towards Valencia just yet. The last thing you need if you're a referee is all of the players surrounding the officials.
He's trying to find a safe place. There's a red card to 2. Bailly.
It looks like Roncaglia as well.
Both of them gone.
Well, all of the central defensive issues for Jose Mourinho's side, and he's lost perhaps the linchpin of that back four for the final.
There's Bailly, but you know what? It's Valencia that does the push. Now Bailly's going to come back.
You saw the punch as well from Roncaglia towards Bailly before that.
See? Okay, there's the one that, there's 2 of them there. So
You could have a case that Valencia should be off as well.
Look, seeing that little punch there, I'm okay with the Bailly red. I'm okay with the Roncaglia red. And if you're Manchester United, just be thankful that you don't also have Valencia with a red.
And this is kicking off all the way into the tunnel as well.
Don't have them walk down
Officials
together.
on both sides trying to separate the players. Roncaglia looked like he was still initiating with Eric Bailly. And a goal for Celta de Vigo here would mean they would go through on away goals. So still all to play for. A good 3 or 4 minutes wasted there. And Rashford is going to be replaced. Chris Smalling is going to come on. Jose Mourinho bringing on an extra defender. It's now about holding on to what we have for Jose Mourinho and his coaching staff. (1-1) on the night, 2-1 on aggregate. As it stands, United go through. 1 goal for Celta de Vigo. They would go through on away goals. Wayne Rooney also on as well. There's so much happening here over the last couple of minutes. Lingard replaced. Wayne Rooney's added experience here laid on. I'm sure Manchester United will be in no hurry to take this. And Aspas still frustrated. Incredible scenes here at Old Trafford. Pogba. And the referee doesn't have many fans inside the stadium.
Well, in all that, he didn't have any help from any of his colleagues about the Valencia push-punch, depending on how you want to look at it.
Amazing that Bailly and Roncaglia would both get involved at such a pivotal moment of the game. 6 minutes of stoppage time. Pleasant reading if you're a Celta de Vigo fan, not so much if you're Jose Mourinho. That one looked like it went out off the Celta defender. That'll be a throw-in for Manchester United. One they're not going to be in too much of a hurry to take.
Well, the melee comes right after the goal. Roncaglia scores the goal. Now, game on. Celta Vigo thinks, all right, here it is. We've been getting some opportunities. And if you're Manchester United, you get that uh-oh feeling. And then they all come together, and it all goes to hell in a handbasket.
And a free kick given away. You saw the contact late. And Manchester United will have the chance to waste some more precious seconds as Herrera goes down. But that a huge moment. Eric Bailly, such a big part of the defence, will now be suspended for the Europa League final. And Roncaglia on the other side, of course, as well. Mr. Glazer, Manchester United owners in attendance. Not a man who says an awful lot publicly. That's a strong challenge, and it was into the back of Fellaini. Cabral saying he won the ball. It'll be a free kick.
Well, there's plenty of illegal and reckless and careless ways to win the ball. That's one of them.
That was late.
You got to be aware of your surroundings when you go up.
Well, after Old Trafford took a collective breath, the fans now finding their voice again to get their team over the finish line. Rooney on the set piece, in no hurry to take this one. Pogba goes towards the corner flag as if to suggest they'll try and waste some time on this one. Back for Rooney. It's Rooney himself who holds on to it before losing out. Mallow, driven ball forward. Carrick puts that one high into the stands. Not the finish he expected.
There it is. That says it all. Nervous times right now.
Pablo Hernandez. Theo Bangonda back on his left foot, curl cross towards the far post, and easy for Romero. He'll once again waste some precious time. Well, I can tell you, we have one finalist solidified. Ajax will be in the Europa League final in Stockholm on May 24th. We're about 3 minutes from finding out who they'll face. Fellaini with the flick. Rooney once again trying to waste some time. Cabral trying to keep it in play, and Rooney does well. Maybe coming towards the end of his career, Wayne Rooney, but the fans still very appreciative of what he's done here. Fellaini on the turn, the pullback for Pogba. He goes down, and the free kick goes against Pogba. And the referee struggling to keep up with the pace of the game. Aspas gets away from Herrera. Big switch from Aspas, and you could see what the idea was, but well off target with the pass.
We'll take a look again and remember back to Pogba. Yep, there's the foul right there, and that's a little different than the other one where he had position and took the hit, and the referee played on. Good call here, right there, left foot, can't do that.
The joy turns to despair so quickly for some. They thought it was a goal. They thought they were through. It might very well be in about 90 seconds. For how calm and collected he's been throughout his career, Jose Mourinho. He looks a nervous man towards the end of this game. Is there one last chance for Celta de Vigo to get this ball forward?
Well, he's a man that's put all his eggs in one basket to get back to Champions League. As we said, his club, and he need this.
That decision may just about do it. And Jose Mourinho talking to somebody. Not sure whether it was a fan of the UEFA officials. And the ball will go out of play. We're into the final 30 seconds. Jose Mourinho still turning around and talking to people behind him. The fans, they want the final whistle. The flick on. Chance in behind. Guidetti in front of goal. And once again, he couldn't hit it back on target. That is the final action.
Oh.
Somehow Manchester United are through. Certainly not how it was scripted, but the end result is all that matters for Jose Mourinho.
A sense of relief, a sense of opportunity. What a finish. What a finish.
Those hugs look like they have a little bit more meaning for Jose Mourinho right now.
And for the opposition, for Celta Vigo, I tell you what, they brought it today. They'll look back and rue that first leg where they didn't bring it. But they put on a show for us today. And this team gets to go to a final with that opportunity to go to Champions League. They'll relish it, but they're also going to do it without Bailly. We take a look back at this last opportunity. You don't want to shoot that? No. He doesn't shoot it and plays it over. And Guidetti. This nice little touch there from Cabral. Ay, ay, ay. That's on the doorstep.
Glory, glory, Manchester United rings around Old Trafford. They're looking for more glory in the European final. The thumbs up from Jose Mourinho. Iago Aspas has moved to tears after another struggling night for him. Manchester United They made it interesting late on. Celta de Vigo getting the leveller through Roncaglia, who was later sent off. Bai sent off as well. But ultimately, Manchester United do enough. 1-1 on the night. They move on. 2-1 on aggregate. Well, we're going to take a short break. Make sure you stay with us, as the guys in the studio will be back to wrap up an incredible day